The philosophy of authenticity. We live in a world that often feels like a hall of mirrors. Everywhere we look, we see reflections of who we are supposed to be rather than who we actually are. We are constantly bombarded with instructions on how to be happier, wealthier, fitter, and more successful. In this noise, the quiet, steady voice of our true self often gets drowned out. We begin to curate our lives like a museum exhibit, polishing the edges and hiding the cracks, hoping that if we present a perfect enough image, we will finally feel safe. But the philosophy of authenticity isn't about perfection. It isn't about finding a static, unchangeable you and presenting it to the world on a silver platter. It is a much messier, more beautiful, and deeply courageous process of shedding the layers that never belonged to you in the first place. To understand authenticity, we first have to forgive ourselves for being inauthentic. It is a survival mechanism. From the time we are children, we learn that certain behaviors yield love and attention, while others result in scolding or isolation. We are wired for connection. Our ancestors needed the tribe to survive the winter. So we learn to trade our authenticity for attachment. We learn to smile when we were angry, to be quiet when we wanted to scream, and to agree when we actually disagreed. We built a suit of armor to protect the soft, vulnerable creature inside. The problem arises when we become adults and realize we are still wearing armor that is now too small, heavy, and suffocating. We realize that we have become excellent actors in a play we didn't write. True authenticity is the act of slowly taking off that armor. It is a terrifying philosophy because it requires us to risk rejection. The logic of the mask says, if I hide my flaws, people will love me. The logic of authenticity says, if I hide my flaws, people are loving a fictional character, not me. There is a profound loneliness in being loved for who you are pretending to be. You can be surrounded by friends and family yet feel completely invisible because you know that if they saw the real you, the one with insecurities, strange habits, unpopular opinions, and deep fears, they might leave. Authenticity challenges us to close that gap. It asks us to show up as we are, not as we think we should be. However, we must distinguish authenticity from impulse. There is a misconception that being real means saying every rude thought that comes into your head or acting without regard for others. That isn't authenticity, that is reactivity. True authenticity is deeper. It is grounded in self-awareness. It is the alignment of your internal world with your external actions. It is when your values, your words, and your behaviors are all singing the same song. It requires a high degree of introspection. You have to ask yourself difficult questions. Do I actually like this job, or do I just like the prestige? Do I really want to go to this party, or am I afraid of missing out? Do I believe this political opinion, or am I just repeating what my friends say? This journey is also complicated by the fact that the self is not a statue, it is a river. You are not the same person you were 5 years ago, nor are you the person you will be 5 years from now. Therefore, authenticity is a dynamic practice, not a final destination. You cannot simply find yourself once and be done with it. You must effectively reintroduce yourself to yourself every single day. It involves a flexibility of spirit. It means admitting, I used to believe this, but I have grown and now I see it differently. There is a tremendous freedom in allowing yourself to change. The inauthentic person feels the pressure to remain consistent with their past image. The authentic person remains consistent with their present truth. One of the most beautiful byproducts of this philosophy is resonance. When you stop pretending, you act as a tuning fork. You emit a specific frequency. Those who are not on your frequency will naturally vibrate away from you, and while this can be painful, it is necessary. You stop wasting energy maintaining relationships that require you to suppress your spirit. But the magic happens when you attract those who do resonate with your frequency. Relationships built on authenticity are virtually unbreakable because there are no trapdoors, no hidden resentments, and no exhausting performances. You find that vulnerability is not a weakness but the ultimate bridge between two human souls. When you say, I am scared, or I don't know the answer, or I made a mistake, you give the other person permission to be human too. You create a sanctuary of truth in a world of pretense. The cost of this lifestyle is high. You may lose popularity, you may face criticism, and you will certainly feel the discomfort of vulnerability. But the reward is higher. You get to keep your soul. You get to lay your head on the pillow at night with a quiet mind, knowing that you haven't betrayed yourself to please a crowd. You start to move through the world with a different kind of confidence, not the loud, arrogant confidence of someone trying to prove their worth, but the quiet, grounded confidence of someone who has nothing to hide. Ultimately, the philosophy of authenticity is an act of rebellion. In a society that profits from your self-doubt, liking yourself is a rebellious act. In a culture that demands conformity, owning your weirdness is a revolutionary stance. It is about looking at the messy, complex, contradictory mosaic of your life and saying, this is mine. I own all of it, the light and the shadow. It is the decision to live a life that feels right on the inside, not just one that looks good on the outside. It is the only way to truly live rather than just exist. If this conversation sparked a little flame of truth in you, or if you found yourself nodding along, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below sharing one small way you're trying to be more real in your daily life. Let's start a genuine conversation down there. And if you want to join us on this journey of deep diving into the things that actually matter, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us keep it real. See you in the next one.